Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Women Changing Our World. I am Kelly.
I am Jamie.
I'm so glad to have you back.
I know, thank you.
How are you feeling?
I'm so glad to be back. I'm on the mend.
Okay. But at least you're here.
Yeah,
You might be drugged up, but you're here on this gloomy, rainy day.
I'm definitely here. I'm feeling better than I was. I have had a rough go.
You did have a rough go. And then this weekend, my ear was like clogged and it was making me dizzy. I'm like, oh my God, Jamie gave me whatever funk she has and now it's in my ear.
Through the phone.
I don't know.
No, I'm feeling better. And we were just talking to Judah. So as you know, if you've been watching, so I had my appendix out. So I had surgery.
Yes.
And then I had shingles.
The worst.
Which was like the worst. So
I don't know how
you have not
shingles.
vaccinated your kids for chickenpox, you really, really should. It is, chickenpox, I remember as a kid, were really itchy. Shingles are not itchy. They are the most painful thing in the world.
I heard they were like crazy painful.
Imagine like it's not even itching. It's like a burning, tingling, like my whole arm and chest was numb.
Shut your mouth.
Completely numb. It was like the most burning pain.
How long is it going to hurt?
I don't know. Like, it still hurts now, but I think they said, like, you can have effects for up to 6 weeks.
Ugh. Okay, well, people don't want to hear about your gross shingles, Jamie.
I'm not, like, showing you.
Well, no, you could, I guess. I'm pulling up something for the news. I took a screenshot.
Do you have news?
I do have news. Well, the news these days is, like, awful and boring, and we refuse to talk about it. So we're only going to talk about positive, amazing, great things. And we have 2 great interviews today. Denise Ramey.
I'm so excited.
And Dr. Gaffney.
Yeah, look at these cups Denise
I know.
gave
Thank
us.
you, Denise. Look, Denise dropped us off some swag.
These like amazing tumblers, and I'm drinking my smoothie in it.
Yes, and then now these will be our new
wine glasses.
Wine glasses for cocktail hour. Thank you, Denise. We'll tell you
Denise.
in a few. Okay, but the news today. This little girl, I loved the story so much. Her name is Vivian Anderson, and she was in the car driving somewhere with her mom, and they saw a construction site, and the sign said men working.
Yeah,
but half of the people working were women. So she wrote a letter to the powers that be, like her mayor and I think her congressman and other people, and saying like, how unfair is this? Women were working too. So the whole city and state now changed from men working sign to, what was it? It wasn't people working. It was, hold on, I should be more prepared. I'm not. Oh, workers present.
That is such a good idea.
And they named a street after Vivian.
Vivian, I love that.
Workers present. I think that's fair. Way to go, Vivian.
That is so true.
Right?
I love it. What if there was a sign that was like women working? Well, because they do have like duck crossing.
You would have to put women working signs everywhere. You would see nothing but women working signs.
That is very true. That would be a good like statement. If everywhere there was a woman, it was like women working. Can you imagine? And then people would realize how many women actually work.
I work. We work.
Yeah.
You could put a sign here, Jerry.
We work.
It says women working.
Not that hard, but I mean, we do something.
We don't work that hard. That is true. I work hard. I have a second job.
No, I work hard.
You have a second job.
I do. I have so many jobs I can't even do. When taxes come, I'm like, ugh, I can't even. I can't even file them. I'm like, I don't know where the W-2s are. It's too much. I have so many jobs. It's like ridiculous.
Yes, I don't disagree.
I should have been,
What's going on at the Swig before we called Denise?
Ooh, Wine Club is coming up. So I think I told you a couple weeks ago, we are doing...
Why did you bring us wine?
Corks and Crafts. I did not bring wine today.
I love that name.
Doing a smoothie. Corks and Crafts. And it's a monthly wine and craft club. So when you subscribe at Pikasso Swig, you get wine, 2 bottles of wine, and a craft of the month, and then we travel around the world with different sommeliers and winemakers.
I love it. So what craft is this month?
So we're going to do a really cute, like, fall wood sign.
Ooh, hey, let's do that on a craft and cocktail show this week.
That would be so fun.
We'll drink the wine, and I'll make the sign.
And these are going to be wines from, like, all over the world that you don't normally get to try. So a couple of wines we have are actually are distilled in concrete. So you know how people like age wine in barrels and that? So this is going to be, so we have tons of great wine. So sign up, PicassoSwig.com/corks.
Ooh, okay. Corks, and we'll do it this week then. Let's do the craft on our craft and cocktails.
Let's do it. I love it. Yeah.
And then we'll drink the wine. I mean, if you're providing the wine, I will do the craft.
Yeah, so Luca's coming on from Barbersville, the winemaker. So I love Barbersville.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll sneak in some Octagon.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. Should we get Denise on? Because I have so many questions. We have 2 interviews, so we got to like move along today, Jamie. You can't be like chit-chatting.
I'm very slow-mo today.
I know.
I'm like the sloth of the show.
I know, Judah, we're ready to call Denise whenever you...
No,
you
that's
call.
my job.
I know.
Kelly, I am back, and this is my job.
Last week I had to do the Skype thing, and I was so nervous. I was like, I'm going to mess that up.
I was more nervous about you calling on Skype. I was like, she has the whole show, but the Skype thing might be a little dicey.
I know it. Oh, it's the funniest.
Let's say.
Did Denise answer?
There she is. Hi. Good. How are you? So you're going to see me and you're going to hear Kelly.
Hi, Denise. My favorite realtor of all time. Good. Hey, thank you for the swag. We're using it to drink our morning drinks today.
Absolutely. And do you have wine in your cup or do you have coffee in your cup?
Well, I have tea.
I have a smoothie.
Yes, but I mean, listen,
but
you never know.
I would totally sell my house if I could get myself a dozen of these.
Perfect. I'm your girl.
I mean, I love this.
Yes. So just to give everybody a little intro.
Yes.
Tell us who you are and why you were so amazing, because I think you're amazing.
Well, thank you, Kelly. I think you're amazing too. I am Denise Ramey. I'm a realtor. I actually sold Kelly and Adam's house, gosh, almost 10 years ago.
Yes, and then you helped us. No, not 10 years ago. Well, this is how it started. So when we moved to Charlottesville, you were the listing agent of the house we bought. In Mosby.
Yeah.
And then we thought you were so badass.
You stole her?
We sold our house, we're like, we got to get her. She's like the best. So then we sold our house with you, and you helped us purchase some land and yada, yada.
Yada, yada. It was a lot of fun. I loved getting to know Kelly and her beautiful girls and her wonderful husband. So I appreciate it. I'm so excited for you guys to have your own show and to be doing so well.
Well, thank you. And thank you for being our very first sponsor.
Thank you for sponsoring. We love you. We talk about you all the time.
We do.
Well, I appreciate it.
So tell us, how long have you been a realtor? How long have you been doing all this stuff?
I got into real estate right when the market was going south.
Perfect timing.
Everybody told me I was crazy. Yeah, perfect timing. But I love it. I had moved 7 or 8 times in my prior life with Bell South, and each time I thought there are ways I can improve the real estate experience for clients, and so I've tried to implement those. I've got an amazing team. My team has now grown to 8.
Awesome.
We have a wonderful support group. Jill, Kelly, and Lisa take great care of our team and our clients.
Yes.
And do amazing things for our listings and our buyers. And then we have 3 other buyers agents, including my husband, Ricky, and Jessica and Tony. So we have an amazing team. And I think when you and I worked together last, Kelly, there were 2 of us.
Yeah, there was only you and Lisa.
Yes. So we've grown and are enjoying the fruits of our labor, and right now a very busy real estate market. So it's amazing how things ebb and flow, but in spite of COVID, real estate is one of the industries that's doing incredibly well. So we're very thankful.
And why do you think that is? Because for me, where are people moving out of like big cities to smaller places like Charlottesville? Is that what's happening, do you think?
Exactly. I have spent probably, the last 4 weekends with people from Chicago, Connecticut, New York, out west, and the overriding theme consistently is people want to move to a smaller town with culture. Many of them are associated with UVA in some past life. They either went to UVA or have family that went to UVA. They know Charlottesville either tangentially or from having lived here, and they want to get out of the craziness of the big cities. They love our climate. We are obviously in the mid-Atlantic, so those who are from the Northeast think it's very temperate. Yep. Those who are from out west feel very comfortable here. So it's been interesting to listen to people who are trying to escape the craziness of the big cities and the reasons why they love Charlottesville.
Well, Charlottesville is the best. And listen, if I was in New York during this pandemic and I was like in a, shoebox of an apartment, the first thing I would do is buy somewhere else.
And it's so funny. So I grew up in New York, and so half of my family is in New York, and then half of them are in Florida. And we grew up living in buildings, like that's what you did in New York, and especially in Florida. There's huge high rises, and during COVID, it has been so hard. My aunt, she gets in an elevator and she's like, you don't want to be. It's so hard to be in these big cities.
Well, it's interesting because many of the families that I'm working with are just like your family, Jamie, and they thought it was great to live in New York City, to walk outside, go to the grocery store, go shopping. But if you're locked into a 2-bedroom condo with a balcony and you have nowhere to go for months on end, you begin to rethink how convenient that may be for you. So people are loving having a little bit of land. Yeah. The prices are obviously great here compared to many other areas of the country. The tax rate is lower, although surprisingly not lower than New York City, I learned yesterday.
Wow.
So it's a great place to live. We just had the Parade of Homes this past weekend and the weekend before, and it was amazing the number of people that came out in the rain. We probably had 25 groups through the house I was hosting yesterday, and so many of them are saying the same thing. I just want a little bit of land. I want to get out of the craziness of the big city. And I'll tell you, internet has never been more important, though, as I'm sure you're hearing from your families. You've got to have great internet for those people who are telecommuting. Right. And so that's probably the number one question I'm asked when looking at property in the county is, what's the speed of service? What's the download speed? So definitely important for us to remember that as we're talking about broadband and how it impacts our business, not just our education for our kids, as we're seeing now, but also real estate and all aspects of our economy.
Are people traveling here to see these homes, or are they utilizing services that you provide, like videos of the homes and buying them that way?
That's a great question. During March and April, Kelly, when things were really on lockdown, we didn't see people in person often. We did a lot of video tours. We actually converted from public open houses to video open houses for the safety of our clients and to try to make it easy for people to see property that weren't comfortable coming out in person. And that worked. Unfortunately, there were a lot of people who wrote offers on property sight unseen, which I'm not a big fan of, because if you're spending $400,000 or $500,000 and you're basing that purchase on a video tour, it can be scary. So,
girl, I would not spend that without seeing it.
No. And most people, fortunately in Virginia, the Virginia Association of Realtors, of which I'm a member, there are 34,000 plus realtors in the Commonwealth. And our lobbying group was able to make it happen for us to be able to continue to do business. There were many states that surround us, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, where realtors were basically shut down. You couldn't see property in person even if you wanted to. Transactions were not happening. And fortunately for us, we were able to conduct business because our lobbyists, which I know is a dirty word to many people, but they did an amazing job advocating for our members, so we were able to still conduct business.
And you're not bragging on yourself. You're the president of the association, right?
Not yet.
But soon to be.
2022, I'm slated to be the president of the Virginia Association of Realtors.
Congratulations.
I like it.
2021 president-elect. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. I volunteer both locally and with our state association and nationally, and it's something that helps me stay on top of what's happening in the real estate market.
Yeah.
It's great for my education. It's great for networking. I've met people all over the country who ultimately I learn from, but they also send me business. So it's something that I am passionate about, and I feel like the advocacy side of our membership is where I can really make the most difference. So we educate our lawmakers on real estate issues and why it's important for them to vote for property rights issues and for our clients who are property owners. So that's something that I think most people don't realize realtors do for their clients and for our business, but it's certainly something that makes a difference. Right now, when you look at what's happened with COVID, there were many realtors who couldn't transact business to support their families. And by virtue of the National Association of Realtors lobbying efforts, we were able to apply for, and many realtors receive, the payroll protection program benefits.
That's great.
As self-employed individuals, that was not something that was included in those bills initially. And so that was huge for our members.
We've
also...
Oh, go ahead.
Well, we have also lobbied really hard for our clients who can't afford to pay their mortgage due to being laid off from their businesses. So mortgage forbearance was another thing that the realtors were lobbying hard to have support of our property rights, our property owners during COVID. So a lot of things behind the scenes that most clients don't know about, but realtors are working hard for their clients and for their members. And right now, that's more important than ever, and it's something that I'm really proud of our members for doing.
So during COVID, are there any, with the economy being all crazy, are there any programs, like new programs out there for whether it's for first-time home buyers or incentives for people to, sell or buy? Are there any programs out there?
Not really, Jamie, because the market is very busy. I mean, obviously, with interest rates below 3%, I think the 30-year mortgage right now is at 2.87%, which is at a historic low. Right. I know Jerry is a big real estate investor, so he's probably taking advantage of that with, buying investment property. But the main thing that realtors have been working hard for with our elected officials is helping people stay in their homes, those who might have suffered a job loss, and also helping people who are renters with the eviction moratorium support. So they're really working for those types of issues and less so helping people buy and sell homes right now, because that doesn't seem to be the problem for the market right now.
Right. Okay, when showing people homes, are there things that men really focus on versus what women buying a home really focus on? Like if there were a couple, do they ever argue because a man really wants this and a woman really wants this in a home?
It depends, and that's a great question. I think we might have preconceived ideas about what's important to men and what's important to women, but the thing that's changed the most as I've been showing property is the importance of the kitchen to the men and not just the women. I don't know, who does the cooking in y'all's families?
Well, I'm an awful cook, so Adam. And when we were building a home, the kitchen, like the appliances and what kind of stove and, things were really important to him.
I definitely do all the cooking. Ryan could care less if I was like, oh, our living room is now a kitchen. He'd be like, oh, I didn't even notice. He wouldn't notice, anything.
Well, it's funny to listen to couples and to families. I think the kitchen is typically the most important room for both the men and the women. Interestingly, with COVID, the home office has become a huge area of focus, and not just for one party, but for both parties. That's what's really driven people to reconsider how they're living during this interesting time we're in. And so most couples that I'm showing homes to, if they're in a townhome now or if they're in a smaller home and they're deciding they need to move up, they're looking for more yard space, they're looking for more office space, and since they're dining in more often, the kitchen has become more and more important. So I don't know that it's a gender thing, Kelly, as much as just the way life is right now. The key areas of focus seem to have changed a little bit.
Because for me, it's like the flow of the house.
Yeah,
that's the most important to me. How does the house flow, and is every space usable? Yes,
usable space is really important. I can tell you, when we moved into our house, when we walked into the model home, it was like a formal sitting room, and I was like, no. There is no way I'm spending all this money to furnish this room that no one sits in. I was like, absolutely not. I think the days of unless you're moving into a mansion where you're like, this room is the formal sitting room and this room is
think, do people do that anymore? Like a formal sitting room and a formal dining room, really?
Very few. Most homes now are built with one eating space, and it's typically bigger than a breakfast nook, but we don't have the formal dining room. We don't have the breakfast nook combination. It's typically one area to entertain. But, it's interesting too, the open concept has become less desirable with COVID. Many people are finding that if you're all on Zoom calls, if the husband and wife or the husband and husband are both on business calls, they need space that's more separated and quiet. So we've seen a turn away from the open concept and more into defined spaces and private spaces, which will be interesting to see if this
stays,
if this continues, or if this will just be a short-term change in focus.
Well, because you haven't been in my house in a long time, but my kitchen, living, dining is all just one massive open space, like one giant room altogether.
Right.
And then we have a sunroom office off of that.
But you have like a lot of little nooks, I feel like, that you could like separate from.
Yeah,
like
I think we're fine.
Space. Like I feel like, and so if you have, not that anyone has, but if you have a little extra income and you want to make some improvements to your house, what do you think? Like, is it worth it to replace the carpets? Is it worth
Put in a pool?
Put in a pool.
Finish a basement?
Finish a basement. Like, is it worth it to upgrade the kitchen? Or are you under the philosophy that it's like, if you're going to sell it, just sell it as is and they'll be able to do it?
Great question. So I'm not a sell it as is kind of realtor.
No, she is not. She is amazingly bossy to tell you what to do to sell your house.
She's like, get on those carpets now.
No, she's like, move all of your gross stuff out. No one wants to see that. But I appreciate that because it sold my house quickly and for what we asked. So listen to Denise if she's your realtor.
I love you, Kelly. I am not amazingly bossy. I'm just very self-directed as far as helping our clients make decisions.
People should listen to you. You know what you're doing. I obviously did not.
I'm going to call Kelly self-directed from now on.
I'm bossy.
No, Kelly, you're just self-directed.
Okay, so what would you put the extra money in?
Well, it depends. So the number one thing to do when you're thinking about renovating your home is to talk about what's important to you with an eye to resale. If you're not planning to sell your home for 5 or 10 years, do what's important to you. If you're planning to put your house on the market in the next year or two, the most important rooms to most home buyers are the kitchen and the master bath. So if your bathroom is 20 years old and you've still got that jetted tub that nobody uses, that when you turn on the water, black it's probably a good idea to renovate the bathroom. Same thing with the kitchen. People are more forgiving now because our inventory levels are so low. I showed houses this weekend, and I have a young couple who's moving up. They both are teachers, and they're teaching from home on Zoom. So one is actually set up a space in the garage as her teaching space. And I asked her what she's going to do when it gets colder, and she said,
close the door,
get a heater outside. But they were looking at a home last night with me, and the home had Formica countertops, and everything else in the home had been updated. Well, buyers might have said no to that 3 or 4 years ago when they had lots of choices. But our inventory levels are at historic lows, and that home is in high demand and has an offer on the table right now. And my clients were considering making an offer last night.
Wow.
So I guess to answer your question in a more generic way, it depends.
Okay.
If everything else in your home has been updated and you haven't gotten around to the countertops in the past, that might have been something that we would encourage you to take care of before you list your house. But right now, my goal is to get the house on the market in a clean condition, decluttered and purged and devoid of personal items. And, things are selling now that may not have sold a year or two ago without those updates. Wow. So if you're thinking about selling, kitchens and bathrooms are most important. If you're thinking about renovating for you, do what's going to make you comfortable and make it great for you to live in your home.
Well, what's going to add the most resale value? So I'm planning on staying in my home for right now, but I'm always looking, as you know. I love to look at real estate, and if I find a funky house, I text Denise. I'm like, ooh, tell me about this house. But right now we're planning on staying. But is it more important if we're doing something to the home? Like, we don't have a finished basement. We don't have a pool. If we do something, what is going to add the most value? Because my home was pretty recently built, so everything's pretty up to date.
When you can add finished square footage in a home, you're automatically increasing the value of the home. So if you have an unfinished basement, that's going to bring you a lot more value than adding a pool, which only probably 25 or 30% of the people really want. So I would say, number one thing, if you have unfinished space that is livable, then I would finish that space. Typically, space in a basement that's finished will bring you about half the value of space that's above grade.
Okay.
So if it costs you $20,000 or $30,000 to finish a basement, and you've got 1,000 square feet, you're probably going to be able to gain $30,000 or $40,000 in value from investing that money in a basement.
Oh, Denise,
so definitely.
I wanted the pool. My husband wants the basement. I'm going to lie. I'm going to lie and say you said the pool.
Yeah. That's a good plan. I'll back you up.
Okay, Denise, before we let you go, what is the number one advice for people right now buying a house in Charlottesville? Well, first, contact Denise. That's the number one advice.
Number one, contact Denise.
Yeah.
Denise, what's your website? Tell everyone.
It's my name, www.deniseramey.com, and it's Ramey with an M like Mary. So I would say the number one advice is talk to a lender and get pre-qualified. Understand what your costs are going to be to purchase a home. People don't realize that a buyer typically needs to have 2 or 3% of the purchase price available for their closing costs.
Yeah.
So you've got to conduct a home inspection. You've got to have an appraisal done on the property. So there are costs that add up.
Right.
So I would say talk to your lender, get pre-approved, understand what the costs are going to be. Interview realtors. Don't just hire somebody because you went to high school with them or college with them.
Right.
Interview 2 or 3 people and ask tough questions. Ask them what their approach is, how they communicate with the client, what they do when they show property, what kind of success rate that they had, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. Do you have references of first-time home buyers that you've worked with? It's an important decision you're making, whether you're spending $150,000 or $500,000. It's a lot of money, and there are a lot of moving parts to not just looking at houses, which everybody loves to do, but finding the right house and making the right decision. So I would say it's a very thoughtful process. It should be. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to interview people. And there are a lot of great realtors out there. We have 1,500 realtors in the Charlottesville area. So everybody tends to know five or 10 realtors. So interview people, talk to them.
What's the craziest property you've ever sold? Like, have you ever sold anything with like an airport or like anything like wild? Or like an underground lair, like something insane? Where you walk in, you're like, whoa.
We are in Charlottesville, Jamie.
True.
Yes, Jamie always asks crazy questions. No.
But I will say there's some beautiful properties out there. I just showed a property last week to a client, 7,500 finished square feet. Now, the couple I showed it to they're empty nesters. And the home was absolutely amazing. The views were beautiful. The house was beautiful. Mid-century modern furniture. It was so much fun to watch. But you still see amazing media rooms, amazing kitchens. I mean, those are the things that people get really excited about. So I've never sold a home or shown a home with a lair. But that's not to say I won't in the future. Right. I'll let you know.
Right. If you're watching out there and you have a lair and you want
contact Denise because Jamie wants
your
it.
Girl.
I know. Well, Denise, you are amazing. I can vouch for you. I think you're the best realtor that I know. So if you need a realtor, guys, contact Denise. I love her. I think she's amazing. And thank you for being on our show.
You are the best, Denise.
Absolutely.
Thank you
so
much.
Guys.
Thank you for these awesome gifts.
Yes, our new cocktail cups.
We are going to use these all the time. We love you so much.
Yes.
Awesome.
Denise is an amazing sponsor of our show, so we appreciate you. And we will talk to you soon. And we're going to post a link to Denise's site on our website. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out to her.
She's great. Thank you, Denise.
Yes. Thanks,
Thank
Denise.
you guys. Great
and when
to
I'm ready to
You
sell
too.
my lair, you're my girl.
Give me a call.
Thanks, girlfriend. Talk to you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
A lair, Jamie.
Jeez, I couldn't think of the word.
You're
I
crazy.
picture because imagine if you're a realtor and you walk in and you're like, oh, what if it's like 50 Shades of Grey and you walk in and you're like,
That's freaky.
I mean,
Okay, Dr. Gaffney's waiting.
excuse
Jeez, Jamie.
me. The doctor is
We can talk about
waiting.
real estate after.
I want to talk about the lair. 50 Shades of Grey.
Maybe I should build a lair.
You should.
50
Maybe
Shades of
tell Adam, I don't want a pool. I don't want to upgrade anything. I want a lair.
Well, he's building a tree house.
I know,
by
you
my
told
pond
me.
that
I'm
people
so
can live. Like,
excited.
it's going to have a TV, air conditioning, heating, bunk beds, all
I am
kinds
calling
of things.
the doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Gaffney is amazing. She knows her stuff, Dr.
Oh,
Gaffney. Yeah.
It's ringing.
So she is the head of Ocean.
No, she's unavailable.
Oh,
But
okay.
keep talking. Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep talking. We'll try her. Dr. Gaffney, if you're watching,
Yeah.
we're going to try you
I'm
again.
sure she's probably just stepped out.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
she'll go to
she's
the
busy.
restroom.
She's at
I
school.
know.
Oh, yes. So back to the treehouse. My husband is building. So we have like 17 acres, I think. And we have a big pond behind our house where there's like fish and like we have this ginormous, like 100-year-old turtle.
Which is crazy to me.
Which is insane. Keep
Yeah.
trying her and I'll talk.
Oh, okay.
Keep talking. So today, in the rain, he's digging holes to pour concrete to put in these posts. He's building a huge treehouse.
He really is like doing this.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, how are you? I can't see you yet.
I can see you.
You can see me.
Well, that's good.
Is there an option to turn on your camera?
Is
There you are. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for joining us. You can see Jamie because she's a little prettier today than I am, but you can hear me.
I hear you.
Yes. You'll always hear her, I promise.
She knows that. I've known Dr. Gaffney. How long have I known you? 8 years? 9 years?
10? Well, I've been here 10 years, but you were here, 8 years.
Yeah, I know. So tell everyone a little about who you are, what you do, and why you are so amazing.
Oh, you're so kind. Well, I am Mo Gaffney. I'm head of the Covenant Lower School. I have been an educator my whole life. I say it started in kindergarten when I really decided I wanted to be a teacher then. I grew up in Charlottesville, graduated from Western Albemarle, and went to the University of Virginia, taught in Charlottesville city schools, Albemarle County schools, and other independent schools in our area. And now I am blessed to be the head of the Covenant Lower School.
And you do an amazing job, I will say.
Well, thank you for that. That means a lot coming from you.
Hey, I'm picky when it comes to my kids. I'm a mama bear. Only the best for mine.
So tell us how everything is going. What a weird year.
Yeah.
What a crazy, how is it going?
Yeah, it's going amazingly well. Sort of our motto is every day that we have together in school is a real gift. And we don't take that lightly. We recognize being pulled out last March and several of our other schools and friends are not. And so how great it is to be in school. And our children are so happy. Our parents are so happy. And our teachers are just doing amazing. Just amazing. So
And everybody is so healthy.
Yeah.
God. We've had a couple of scares, but the health department and CDC and our nurses are working with us. They are being, so precautious, which I'm so thankful for. So, a child has a sore throat test. A teacher has a fever. It's a COVID test. So far, I don't want to say, but
we're knocking.
Yeah.
Knocking.
Right.
We haven't had any, positives. And as we were preparing this summer, we know that just statistically, at some point, somebody's going to get it here. And but so far, we're going into our 9th week, and we have not had it.
That's impressive.
That's amazing.
Because listen, I've talked about schools a lot on my show. I don't, I just do because I'm in it to win it with school, right?
Yes.
I gave it a month, and you have proven me wrong. I'm happy to say.
Yes. So all the kids are obviously coming in, they're wearing masks. Yep. And so how do they eat their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
They eat their peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the peanut table.
Is there a peanut table?
Yes. The nut
There's
table.
a nut table?
That's because we think about our friends with allergies.
Yes.
And
I love that. So there's a nut table.
So they sit with their friends who are having nuts. But as far as what does it look like eating lunch, if you drive by the lower school campus, you will see most days, other than when it's raining, and thank the Lord we really haven't had much rain until today. And the children are outside. They all have either a towel or a little blanket. They spread. They know they're 2 yardsticks apart. They take their mask down. They have a proper way of taking the mask off, the way to sit it up. And then they eat their lunch. And then they pack it back up, close it up. And then today, because it's raining, they will be eating inside the classroom. And that's, I think, the first time we've had to do that in 9 weeks. Is just a little bit of amazing. But yeah, so it's great. I would say, Kelly, if you come by, what's been really fun is kids are kids. They're playing on the playground. They're running. They're having a great time being at school. They're learning. They're back into their academics. They're into school. So it's great having them all back.
Okay, so that gives us a good lead into this question. Because Jamie and I have talked about it, and then I've been on the Jerry Miller's show, and we've talked about schools a lot. Since you're a private school, people are obviously paying for this amazing education, and you're in person. But the public school system, they're still at home. And especially in elementary school, I think you would agree, Dr. Gaffney, that those are the most informative learning years, right? You're learning to read, you're learning habits, you're learning math. Mm-hmm. And, the public school kids, there's 30 kids in a class, whereas Covenant, for example, there's like 15. How do you think that is going to separate the private school kids from the public school kids with their education throughout this year, and where will they be next year?
Yeah. First of all, I have to just say, Kelly, I really pray for all of my friends in education and for all of our students. Yeah. Never once do I want to be like, oh, well, we're in person, no. We can do this. Sure. And so I feel for our friends that are not in school. I know how difficult it is. I know how difficult it was to prepare for us. And we are, as you said, a small school. We had to bring in additional staff. We had to clear out different classrooms and make them into classrooms. And so we were fortunate we were able to do all of that, but it was a lot of work. And so I can see why our friends in the public schools at this point, with their volume and with the importance of equity, are just not able to do that. I do think that this, depending how long we are in this situation, the pandemic and not being back in school, I do think it's going to have an impact. I know with our students, we assess them at the end of the year. We assess them again at the beginning of the year. And what we noticed is our children who were always struggling are still struggling. It came easy for them. It still comes easy for them. And our kids in the middle are about the same. So things didn't change. I think if you're out of school for longer, that's going to only increase. And so I think our struggling students are going to struggle even more. I think that's going to be really difficult. I think that this group of kids is going to probably be known as that COVID generation, that they missed a year and a half of school. But there are all kinds of great educational organizations. I was reading some articles this weekend by NCTM, which is the math leader that everybody looks to, both independent and public educators and universities really look to their research and what they're doing. And they were talking about exactly this, what is it going to look like? How are we going to make sure that our children are getting the foundation, which is what is laid in the elementary school? As you said, these are important years. Yeah, they're foundational. And so how will we as a society make sure that all of our children are getting that foundation?
Right. And I am fearful, I'm not an educator, but I am fearful that, like you said, the ones that are in the public school system and struggle are going to fall even more behind. And then does the school system go, because right now, you start kindergarten when your birthday is at between September, whatever it is. I wonder if the school system will then go, instead of age-wise, ability-wise.
Yeah, I think those are real instructional questions that district leaders and educators, state levels are going to have to really dig in and look at. First of all, figuring out what are the fundamentals of mathematics and language arts, that those basic foundations that children must get. And then what does that look like? Sorry about that.
We don't care. You should answer it and be like, hey.
But okay. So what are those fundamentals, and then what does that look like? There's some talk about teachers looping with students. So you had them in first, you would go ahead and be their second grade teacher.
Ooh.
So the teachers would then be offering sort of a curriculum that is
like almost mixed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
think that's an interesting point. Like Kelly and I were talking about this the other day about grouping kids into, instead of by age, by kind of ability, and then like moving them up. I think that that's a really interesting thing, but it also kind of pushes kids up maybe into like an area, like maybe you're pushing them socially, maybe into a place that maybe they're not ready for. Because, a lot of kids like are very like, book smart, so they can learn and they're doing that stuff. But mentally, remember, they're just kids.
I forget that my 12-year-old, Lena, Lena, Dr. Gaffney, I forget that she's not like 45.
I forget that too all the time. Like when I'm talking to like a lot of kids, like they're so advanced and they're so smart, but you really like mentally you forget that socially they're still young, like in that mindset.
I think one thing to your point about grouping kids, one thing as educators we want to be very concerned with this pandemic is tracking students. So your low students would stay in this sort of group where they're with low kids all the way through. And there's loads and loads of research on why that is not best practice. So in teacher language, we talk about heterogeneous grouping, where you have the abilities mixed, and you really have to have very talented, capable teachers to be able to teach that range. And it's something called differentiation that we as educators spend a lot of time working with our teachers, working with students, helping with that. And maybe the kids who need that additional support get what we call intervention, just an additional time where they get some focus on mathematics or some focus on reading or spelling, writing in those areas, those fundamental,
So, and for your kids this year at Covenant, are they switching classrooms, or are they kind of in their little pods? Like, are they switching for art? Are they switching for music, for gym, for things like that? Or are they in their own little groups?
So they're in their instructional pods. We have some pods are as small as 8 students. Some are as large as, I think we have one that might have 15, 16. No, 15 I think is the largest. Yeah, 15 is the largest. And so they're in that group. So we really looked at our curriculum this summer, and we did not want to cut out our art and music and PE. And so we had to look at, we're liberal arts and sciences, all of that is so important that it's integrated in. So how can we do that where it's safe for not only the students, but also safe for the teachers?
Sure.
So the teachers wear their mask properly, they wear a shield or goggles, and they go into the classrooms, or they take the students outside for art. And so they have been so amazing. I have to tell you, to be uprooted out of your beautiful classroom, and now they're on a cart going from class to class, or an art bag, and they're going in from class to class. And our music teacher said at the beginning of the year, my goal is to just bring joy to the students.
No,
I love
that's what
that.
you want to hear from a teacher. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's so joyful, and the kids are just laughing and singing and dancing. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so joyful to all of us to hear.
Yeah, I think that those are the best teachers. Some of my favorite teachers, I remember that I still talk to this day. So Miss D'Amico, if you're watching, Miss Malozzi, if you're watching, my teachers that I loved. I remember them because the experiences that they created for me in those grades. Like, I remember, like, our projects. I remember our plays. I don't ever remember Miss D'Amico being like, we have to study for the SOLs.
Right.
Jamie, this is your thing. Like, I wasn't like Miss Malozzi. I love the way you really came hard, down on me for reading.
Yeah.
I think that, like, those are the teachers, like the special teachers that are like, all that stuff doesn't matter. I just want to bring fun and joy and help kids learn. And even like, and this is a hard time to help kids get through, even mentally, like emotionally. Like, it's a weird.
I know. Do you think COVID will force the education system as a whole to rethink itself?
I think probably it's happening right now. It's sort of, I kept calling it on the boots.
Right.
You're like in the war right now. You're, in the spring we said it was like this. The analogy I used is you're learning to fly the plane while you're building it.
Right.
Imagine that, right? You're learning, you're flying a plane while building it.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what it was like. What you said is the experiences. We do a little exercise at the beginning of the year with all of our teachers, and we say, write down one experience you remember from school. And they write it down. It's exactly the things you talked about. Field trips, special projects. And then we talk about what is embodied education. And so bringing in experiences into that education. And that's what we're trying to do at Covenant, is to really bring that liberal arts piece where you've got the history connecting with the English and the artist, and then the music that you're listening to is of that period.
Yes, right.
All connects and really comes together nicely. I think that's
why can't everyone do that? Like, and I think
Well,
the public schools.
Well, they can't. They don't have the resources. Like, the government doesn't give the public schools enough money to be able to, like, do all these things.
Right.
Not that I know some public schools that are amazing and do as much as they can.
Yeah, and I think, the public schools have had a hard time because I think that first you have, COVID, obviously, which is a big one, but you have the whole learning curve of being on a computer on Zoom.
I don't know.
That is.
How do you learn how to read on Zoom?
I don't know. That whole thing is really hard.
Little children, it is just so difficult. I was glad to hear that the county, it sounds like they're going to get some days in person.
Yes. It sounds like it.
Yep.
And Louisa is doing some in person, they said.
Yeah.
They're doing it. They started maybe the day before or the day after we did. So they're on about the same time we are. So that's very good.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, I think you're an amazing teacher, an amazing educator. What advice would you give all the other teachers and educators out there right now? Give us some positivity, Dr. Gaffney.
Drink more wine.
I think that, I did hear that the alcohol is up.
Yeah.
Because Jamie drank it all.
Yeah. And I don't even have kids. So I don't even have kids and I'm drinking all the booze. Imagine if I did. Forget it. We'd have a shortage.
I think, my advice would be that there's a lot of information and news that is very scary. And I think, my teachers came back and we sent out a survey and said, how do you feel about returning? And thankfully, most of them felt good about it, but some were very concerned. And so we spent a lot of time preparing them to feel safe. We have a wonderful medical team that's working with us daily. The health department recommended that independent schools return to school. That helped them. But I think there was so much unknown when we started that first week in August, and everybody was so scary. And I just would love to encourage everyone to know that, we definitely were anxious, but, we're a Christian community. We prayed through it. We really asked the Lord to give us that great peace that surpasses all understanding. And I think everybody just really would say now, we interviewed again, had a work day, and people feel really safe and really good. I just encourage us not to let our guard down because we've been here and it start to feel normal. So we have to make sure we're still really sticking to the protocols with the hand washing and the mask and the 6 feet apart. And so I think it's important. But I do hope.
It sounds like so much fun to work at Covenant. I'm like, I want to get in there.
Jamie's
I want to do the music and the art.
She's trying to like position herself for you to hire her.
I need another job. Yeah. Doesn't it sound like so much fun?
It is fun. My kids go to Covenant.
Sounds like so much
It is fun. Well, Dr. Gaffney, you are the best. Keep up the great work. And I so hope I can see you soon with my kiddos.
I know, me too. And thank you guys for taking time to reach out, and good luck to you all, and stay safe.
Yes,
well, thank you
for all you do. We really appreciate you. Keep up the good work. I hear nothing but good things. So,
if you hear anything bad, that's not true, okay?
Got it.
I would never.
Got it. Thank you, Dr. Gaffney. Have a great year. Good luck this year. It's going to be great. Thank you.
She's great.
She is awesome. What a sweet woman.
She is very sweet. She's tough. I'm not going to lie. She is very nice. I think she's one of the best educators I've ever met. She runs a tight ship, man. That's why I think they're staying so safe. Listen, she runs a tight ship. She gets stuff done. She does it the right way.
If I were in that school, I'd be in her office like every day. I'd be like, Dr. Gaffney, hi.
I know. My kids were.
I was definitely like that kid in school. Like I would be like in the principal's office, like, just came to say hi. Hi. They're like, hi, Jamie. I was like,
hi. Okay. So Feast.
Oh,
which we love Feast. Everyone,
what is that
go to
beautiful
Feast.
bomb?
I know. Look how beautiful that. Erin at Feast.
Erin at Feast,
who we adore, who's a good friend of the show. She packaged up some cool fall things for us.
Love, guys. We talk about Feast all the time. If you have not been to Feast, please
They have
go to Feast.
curbside. You can go to their website.
And Feast is a specialty market. It's like a little specialty grocery store down on West Main, and it's amazing. They have all kinds of, they make beautiful baskets. So Erin's in charge of that. She makes beautiful, beautiful baskets.
Here, why don't you, I'll pull out the things and you can tell us what they are.
Oh, yeah, lots of local.
Front and back, I think. I don't know.
Lots of local items. Ooh.
The packaging is lovely.
Send care when you can't be there. Just a friendly reminder that the holiday season is right around the corner.
Oh, that has your name all over it.
Oh, I love that.
That's perfect for a charcuterie board.
Gourmet gift boxes, delicious. They even ship them for you. They make these beautiful, this is so good. Let me hold this up.
All you have to do is add like a few olives, a few things.
Ooh, what is this one?
It's a charcuterie.
This is a beautiful charcuterie board that looks so fresh and delicious.
Something near and dear to my heart.
Is that chocolate?
No, they're Buckeyes. I'm an Ohio State Buckeye fan. My whole family is. These have been in our house forever. Buckeyes.
This is a Virginia charcuterie snack pack. Ready to serve bite-sized pieces. Spread the slices on the board. Add mustards, olives, chutney, and cheese.
I have a feeling you're taking that home.
Love.
I'm taking these home. You can have the meat since I don't eat meat, and I'll do these.
Okay,
tell us about these.
Buckeyes.
I'm eating them.
Okay. Chocolate peanut butter balls, also known as Buckeyes.
Yes.
All-time customer favorite. Oh, they're locally made peanut butter balls. They have a cult following for their delicious taste and energizing ingredients. Are they so good? Peanut butter is very, very good for you. No, thank you.
I can't take them home.
Only the finest peanut butter
so good.
and dark chocolate. Those are really good. Very good protein for you.
They're good. Those are delicious, Erin.
Look at these. Okay, what else is in there? Tell us. Keep going. Keep going. Ooh.
Red apple caramels?
Oh, that looks delicious. A new twist on an old favorite. The taste of fresh red apple is captured inside the bright red chocolate wrapped around a smooth caramel center. Delicious.
Delicious.
Guys, these baskets that Erin makes are amazing.
Amazing.
If you are sending these as a gift for the holidays, for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you can call and she can customize anything you want. So if you call and you say, hey, my really good friend loves this specific cheese, Erin can do it all.
Tell me about this. I'm taking this home. I love hot sauce.
Ooh, River City Flame hot sauce. Oh, local women owned, which we love. And it's currently on sale. Created by Paula Horn, she's out of Richmond, Virginia. Hot and zesty soft is served over our old-fashioned cream cheese.
What?
Ooh. Added to a Bloody Mary mix or simply spooned on anything that needs a special pop. I love that.
Look at this, Jamie.
And it's on sale for $10. It's $2 off.
Oh,
so
that's
get
good.
that. Ooh, what is that?
I'm going to try it.
Oh,
Lemon
regatta cheesecake cups.
And look how cute. It comes in the cutest jar.
Dessert cups are perfect individual
Yes.
treat for gathering. It's just a little tiny cheesecake. Rich and creamy lemon
perfect.
regatta cheesecake on a buttery graham cracker crust. I love that. $4.95. Guys.
What? It's
that
perfect for
is
Thanksgiving, so no one's like touching your pie.
That is the best. If you're
That is
doing
cute.
birthday parties or if you have a girls' night out with
that's
wine and a
cute.
cheesecake, that would be the cutest.
Aaron, you rocked it.
Aaron, this is amazing.
Feast, everybody.
Guys.
Go to Feast, curbside pickup, same day.
FeastVirginia.com, FEAST Virginia.com. You can order them. They ship nationwide. Check those out. Also, reminding me, Virginia, October is Virginia Wine Month.
Ooh.
So get that. Join the Pikasso Swig Wine Club.
Do it.
Pikasso Swig Wine Club, guys. Get on it. Our wine club is the exact same amount of money as joining a vineyard wine club, but it comes with
But you get a craft.
You comes with a craft, wine from all over the world, and discounts on crafts and wine. So when you're able to order
love it.
like a case of wine from Pikasso Swig, you're gonna get a discount.
I
It's
need
awesome.
a case of wine from Pikasso Swig.
I love this. Erin, thank you so much.
What are we doing? What day do you want to do cooking and or not cooking and cocktails? We're going to be crafting and cocktails.
Crafting and cocktails this week. I'm going to show you what we're going to do for Wine Club.
Okay. It'll be a surprise. I can't wait.
love that.
And you're doing birthday parties.
We're doing birthday parties. Yeah. Again.
You're going to do a birthday party for my youngest, a virtual
We've been
birthday
doing.
party.
We had a really cute virtual birthday party this week. It was Hocus Pocus themed.
I love that.
And they made spell books.
I saw them. They were cute.
The cutest. They made spell books and these light up things. So we're doing birthday parties at Pikasso Swig. We're going to start to do some on-site stuff, like some private on-site stuff. So if you have a birthday party coming up, ask us.
Do it. Okay, what are you going to do this week? How are you feeling? How are your shingles? You said you were feeling better.
I'm feeling better. I think I'm on the mend.
Okay.
Still tired, still taking it easy, trying to be healthy, trying to eat some, healthy, good stuff. But I think I'm on the mend. Shingles going to take a long time to heal.
That stinks. I'm tired.
Seriously.
This new puppy thing. Okay, first of all, he's so cute. I love him. I already showed a picture of him on the show, I think, last week.
And we posted a picture to our Facebook page. So if you haven't seen that.
He looks like a gremlin.
He's so
Don't feed him after midnight.
Yes.
But puppies are a lot of work, Jamie.
So much work.
Although at least he pees outside and
That
poops
is
outside, so that's good. But he wakes up early. He wants to play nonstop. He likes to bite things, especially my shoes. I'm tired. I'm tired.
I have 2 dogs, and before I got Chloe, so Chloe's 10 now. I never had a dog before. I didn't grow up with dogs. I knew nothing about dogs. And I did not.
Who doesn't grow up with a dog?
I did not like her for the first year. I was like, I didn't understand what a dog was. It was a lot of work. She was peeing everywhere, constant attention. Like, I was like, I don't really like this. And maybe I should return this. And I didn't really love it. Like, she was cute.
Right.
And after a year, then I really began. I was like, you know what? I do really kind of like you. And then when I got Bronx, same thing. I was like, like you're cute, but you're kind of peeing, and it's gross, and you're weird. You smell, and you're money. But now I like him. So it takes a little while.
No, I mean, I love him.
I'm
just saying it's a lot of work. But see, I have 2 standard poodles. So when I got them and they were 3 months old,
they were like huge.
They were the size of like a medium-sized dog already. So it wasn't like a big deal. Like,
no.
Like they were rough and tough. I could leave them outside.
How
My
much
daughter's
do you think he
calling.
weighs?
Hold on. Let's see what she wants. Hold on. Hey, Lena, you're on speaker and I'm on the show.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Lena.
But we're getting ready to end.
What's up, girlfriend? Tell
we just
us.
thought we'd.
Okay.
What's happening?
Nothing's happening. I'm just snuggling with the puppy.
Lena, guess
see,
what?
we were just talking about the puppy. Were you calling to see if I'd pick you up lunch? Is that why you were calling?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Well, I will call you when we're done.
I just wanted to know when you were home. I was gonna get home.
Okay, well, I'll call you later.
Yeah. Ciao.
I love you.
She's the cutest.
She's the craziest.
She's the cutest. I love that kid. She's so funny.
She is
so
funny.
funny.
She knows what I'm doing.
I know.
don't
But
know why
dogs
she's
are a lot of work. The dogs are a lot of work. It takes a while, but they're very cute, very worth it. Man's best friend.
He is cute. Okay, so back to that. So my standard poodle puppies, when they were 3 months, they were like this big.
Yes.
Like,
yes. Right.
Right. And then I had 2 of them, so I could leave them outside.
Yeah.
And I have a screen and porch,
No.
yada. This guy is literally the size of this jar.
He's
Like-
like a tea.
Yeah, he's literally that size. He weighs like 1.5 pounds.
He's so
and he
cute.
follows you everywhere. And so I'm always afraid I'm stepping on him.
Little dogs are a lot of it. They're
They're a lot more work than big dogs.
A lot of attention. They constantly need to be like cuddled and coddled and things, and you need to be around, and they're hungry.
I think I'm just going to wear him in like a baby sling.
Yeah, it's just like a constant. Yeah, Bronx is just constant. And then sometimes like he'll just stare at me. And I'm like, what are you? Go away.
He wants you to feed him.
Yeah, they demand when you have to go to bed. Wait till they get older. Now Chloe demands. She stands on the stairs and she's like, ugh. Demands when she has to go to bed. Water, growls at the sink. She's demanding. And if
They're bossy.
If you don't get it, she's like, just stares at you. With her big eyes. I'm like, oh. Ryan's like, I don't, like, we try to, like, ignore her. She's, like, creepy. You know when you try to, like, ignore your kids, it's like that.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and she's just staring at you?
She stares at me. I try to ignore her. I'm like, it's so weird. I'm like, get her away. Constant.
That's funny.
Constant.
Okay. Okay, well, let's tell everybody who we have on next week.
Ooh, Packed Party.
The owner of Packed Party.
Yes.
They do the most fun party supply stuff, not only just party supplies, but everything.
Yes.
We're going to put an Instagram post up and a Facebook post up tomorrow.
Check out
and they're
Packed
offering
Party.
all of our listeners a 20% off the whole store.
I'm going to take advantage of that.
I'm ordering everything.
It's like the glittery, most fun, awesome party supplies you will ever see.
But then they do like awesome tumblers, they do backpacks, they do purses, they do all kinds of stuff.
I love that backpack. They have like a glitter backpack
I know.
that is like the bomb.
I feel like that has my name on it.
Yeah.
So I was telling Lena, and then we really do got to go.
Yeah.
Judah's going to count us out
Yeah.
here soon. She was like, Mom, 20% off. I'm getting online. What can I order? How much can I spend?
How much can I spend? Oh, we should show everyone our jackets.
Oh, okay, and then we got to go.
Okay, and then we have to go. Guys, check
How
this
cute.
out.
How cute are
Guys.
Jamie got his 80s personalized jacket.
80s personalized jackets.
We're gonna wear them.
The cutest thing. So my girlfriend Alyssa
How
from
funny
New
is
York that I grew up with.
I love it.
She
They're funny.
has
They're
this cute little business. It's called Memories You Wouldn't Forget, and she customized these cute.
Well, I won't forget your name now.
Are these?
They're so cute.
So we just got them in now. So Kelly and I are going to keep them here at the studio. So we're kind of like.
Yeah, we got official jackets.
Kelly.
Because you never know when you're going to be cold.
You never know, and they have our names, so we're never gonna forget.
Yeah.
Do you like
Jerry,
how I
do
have,
not wear our jackets
I
when
have
we're not
like my
here.
shoes off, my like putting my feet up. I'm like drinking my smoothie. I'm very
You're crazy.
comfortable
I know.
today.
Okay, well, Packed Party, guys. Look for it for next week. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And we're going to throw a little party.
A party.
For
I do like a
ourselves.
good party.
Yeah. Tune in this week for cocktails, crafting and cocktails.
Crafting cocktails.
Probably Wednesday.
Check out Feast Virginia.
Feast.
Your boxes.
Thank you, Denise.
Erin, we love
Thank you, Dr.
Denise,
Gaffney.
we love you. Dr.
Yeah.
Gaffney, we love you.
Yes.
I should sneak in and do some preschool stuff at Covenant.
They
That's
were-
what I
they're-
really want to be in
No, they
preschool.
don't. They lock their doors. Seriously, they're never going to let you in.
Damn it.
Okay, well, that was a fun show, Jamie.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
tuning in. It was great. Guys, keep changing our world.
Do it. Love it.
Keep changing our world. Thank you.
I'm glad you're back, Jamie.
Thank you. Okay, glad to be back. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Shut it down, Judah.
Shut it down.
Feast stuff is so delicious. You have to eat one of these.
I know. I'm ready for this.
You're